And we are live. I don't know if anyone's here yet. I just want to welcome anybody that might be here already to chat around the map. And we're going to be doing Crepe Paper Roses tonight as the project. Hi, Sue. Hi, Joni. Hey, guys. Hey, Kiona. Hey, Bonnie. Bonnie's done run everybody out of her chat room or her craft room so that she can watch this tonight. She already told me. She ran everybody out. I'm still working on bringing up a couple of things, guys, so just a minute. I need 2 pages here. Is everybody ready to make the flowers? Everybody got their file cut? I hope that yeah, you should be able to see that. Let me hide the answers. We're going to play Winner Winner Chicken Dinner again this week. Hey, Catherine. Thank you, Joni. I appreciate that. Let's see. Let me grab a shape here. I'm in Design Space. For some of you weren't here on the last project video we did, we play a game called Winner Winner Chicken Dinner. We don't play it every time, but we play it whenever we can. Hey, Patricia. We're a few minutes early, so I'm just chatting and letting everybody come into the room and stuff like that. Let me move my chat over so y'all aren't looking at me in a weird position there. There we go. Now I can see the chat. Hey, Terry. Oh, I'm so sorry you have the flu. I hope you feel better soon. Hi, ASAP. Shaz, okay. Hey, Shaz. Now I have a name to put with that. But I'm glad you came, Terry, just so you could watch and hang out with us. I don't know if Jamie will be able to make it. Jamie and Tina. We'll see. Several people said they were coming, and like I said, we're a few minutes early, so we're going to give everybody a few minutes to join while we make sure that we have everything. I've got my little box set up here. I've got extra petals for those that you are doing. Thank you, Shaz. Hey, Tina. Let me see if it's going to let me fix that on you while you're here now. Yay, Tina, I think I got it fixed. Can you type something in, Tina, and let me know? Make sure that that worked. And you may have to sign out and sign back in. Yay, we got you fixed. Hey, Lavada. Hey, Sharon. Sharon, I sent you a message, but I didn't check to see if I got a reply yet. Hey, B. That's Brandy, right? B. Nance, am I right? Hey, Susan. Hey, Dorothy. And I just want to thank Sharon. She sent me a tip on my PayPal me today for all the videos and things that I've been doing. And I just wanted to say that I am very grateful for that. She's in Dallas, Georgia, not far from me. She's very close to my aunt and uncle's house. And I just want to say thank you, Sharon. That was much appreciated. And in case anybody else is wondering, I've had several people message me. I am going to try to set up a Patreon this week. I've just been super busy and I haven't done it. A lot of you have requested that. Meantime, if you want to buy me a cup of coffee, something like that, it's greatly appreciated. It's not required. I have a PayPal me. It's all in the pinned post. And you can go there and do it, or you can use the super chat here on YouTube. Like I said, not required. Totally up to you guys. If you do, I thank you in advance, and it is greatly appreciated. Hey, Dee. Hey, Dorothy. Kiona, I'm in Hampton. I'm about a mile from the Atlanta Motor Speedway. All right. And Susan Minetta's from Michigan. Oh, yeah, the mug box. I'm glad that that worked for you, Susan. Dee, it's right below where you say something, where you type into chat. Let me move it over and show it to you guys. I'm going to move over to Design Space here in just a moment anyway for Winter Chicken Dinner. That's what we call our little contest that we do. Is everybody ready for that? The winner is going to get a huge Ferrero Rocher, and they're also going to get the flour that I make tonight. And if it's a big flop and a fail, I'll send you the red one that I made earlier this week that came out well. So that's what Winter Chicken Dinner is going to get this week. I don't know, Sue. This one I glued a little bit wonky, and I'm going to show that to you guys so it doesn't happen to you guys. I had a success and a semi-success. Okay, the rules on Winter Chicken Dinner. I am going to show you the Design Space page, and it's a question about Design Space. Hi, Handmade. I don't see a name there, so I'm just going to call you Handmade until we get a name for you. In Orlando. Winter Chicken Dinner. I'm going to reveal it, and then I'm going to read it off just for those who might read a little slower than others. And then I am going to do a countdown. 3, 2, 1. And once I say 1, the first person to have the correct answer will be the winner. Hi, Sonia. All right, let's transition over to that one and get off of my pretty face. I'm just kidding, you guys. Let's transition. Okay. Let me also grab my chat over here so you guys can see chat and not miss anything. What do I need to do if I want to cut the word kiss from this heart? Do I need to A, weld the word and then slice it out? Or B, attach it to the heart, there's no need to do anything else? Or C, either, it doesn't matter? 3, 2, 1, go. Sonia said 3, which is, I guess, a C. And Dorothy said C. C is correct. It doesn't really matter because if I select this and I select the heart and I come down here and attach, it's going to cut out just like that. It's going to cut those letters out. Doesn't matter if there's individual letters on this. The only time that that matters, remember we went over that, is if it's welded and you're making like a stencil, then it will cut where the tails attach to the other, it will cut it out of the next letter. Then it matters. For something like this, it doesn't matter because unless you're planning to keep this and use it for something else. Okay, let me undo that and show you guys the weld and then slice. If I select these, then I weld them and I place them there. And I, oops, is it going to give it to me? And then slice, I'm still going to have the same result once it cuts off the mat. It's going to give me the same result. Okay, so let me take a look there. Sonia typed in 3 and Dorothy said C. So C was really up there. I'm going to go ahead this time and give it to Sonia because she did say 3, which was the third one. Dorothy, I'm going to send you something for a consolation because we had a little mix there. Both of you guys need to message me your address and we will get something out to both of you. Okay, let me just make my little notes. Okay. You're welcome, guys. I'll just run up and get another Ferrero Rocher. So you'll both get one of those, and I have flowers. So we'll just do both of you guys this week. Thank you, Catherine. Yes, you guys give us a thumbs up on the video. All right. A lot of you guys, let me get rid of Winter Chicken Dinner. We don't need that anymore. You should have cut a file like this if you're going to follow along with me. And if you're not, if you haven't cut yours yet, don't worry. I gave 2 files, one that looks similar to this and one that just had one of these and one of this size and then one of each of the leaves and one of these. You can cut this on cardstock and then you can use your cardstock as a template and fold, like accordion, fold your crepe paper and place it on there and cut. Yes, Sonia, you can just message it to me on Facebook. That'll be fine. Or you can send it to craftingwithapril@gmail.com. Either one. Either way that you guys want to do it. You and Dorothy both. So, if you're on an Explorer, just remember you cannot cut crepe paper. It will peel up. First of all, you probably won't be able to get it off the mat. But if you use a pink mat, your blade will drag it off. The regular blade can't cut it. You have to cut this stuff with a rotary blade. I'm going to switch over to the camera. I just want you guys even to make sure that you have at least 8 of these large petals, 9 of the smaller petals, and then 2 of each size of your leaves. and one of this piece that looks like grass. And I told everybody in chat to make sure you cut a couple of extra, because even I had some tears, so that you would have them ready to go. Let me switch over to the project camera and we'll go over a couple of things. And don't mind my fancy stand here for the project camera. I was trying to get it to where it would focus well for you guys. When you cut your crepe paper, it has a grain on it. And I hope that you can see this well in there. But this is running long. The grain is running long ways. And the way you can tell is if you can stretch it this way, then your grain is running this way. If you do this and it doesn't stretch, the grain is going the wrong way for this flower, okay? Because on the cherry blossoms in the file, the leaves are running diagonal. And they're running that way for a reason, and that's so that, I thought I had one handy here. I do. So that you can stretch these, and when you stretch them on the diagonal, you can stretch them both ways and give it that different curl. So when I put these flowers in the file, I just want to make sure that you guys cut them exactly like I have them in the file, because if you're trying to save space, because I'm going to try to save you as much space as I can with them cutting, but if you try to turn a leaf to fit it in there between two other leaves and it cuts on the wrong direction, you're not going to be able to shape it. So that's a very important thing when you're cutting your crepe paper flowers, is to cut it with the grain the way intended per flower. Most of the time it's going to be vertical. Your grain's going to run vertical on most everything so that you can stretch and make the bowls of the flowers and things like that. Okay, so just a tip there for you guys. You guys should have your wire. I get this from the Dollar Tree. It's a little flimsy. I am using treat sticks simply because my stems aren't going to be here till tomorrow. So I'm just using what I have. If you don't have any of the floral stems, you can use a straw. Your stem will just be bigger. So things of that nature. Oh, you're welcome, Sonia. Thanks, Sharon. The cherry blossoms are really easy. How many of you guys like to do the rolled flowers with paper? Because this is a rolled flower. It's that easy. It really is that easy. So if you're used to doing the rolled flowers, this is absolutely nothing. I have a piece of this crepe paper here, cut into about a, I don't know, 2-inch length. And it's about, not quite, it's a little over a 1/4 inch wide, not quite 1/2 inch. Okay? And I think Sue has the links for this cherry blossom. I haven't released it yet. I'm releasing it to you guys. Hey, Wanda. Yeah, my stems didn't come in either, Wanda. I won't get them till tomorrow. But all I did was just roll that, just like that. Just roll it up tight, that little bitty piece of paper, just tight as I could get it. And I folded it in half. Don't worry about the ends if they're a little bit frayed. You can keep twisting them till you get them tight. But I snipped mine off after I put it in the flower. Yes, you can post the cherry blossom for them. But you're going to make 3 of these and fold them in half. That's going to create these stamens. And I used a little pom-pom, and all I did was run it through my chalk and glued it in the center when I was done. That's all I did. But you don't have to do that. I came up with another way, and that was to take about a 4-inch strip like this. Because if you put all 3 of these, I lost one, there it is. put all three of these together like little V's. They're small. But you can fold this over and then I brought it into the V of all of these. Let me get my fingers to work here, guys. But I just folded them over the paper. Just fold them over your paper right there. And then I brought the paper down and twisted it. Just like that. That's all I did. And then you can bring it through and don't make it really tight right there in the center. And then finish twisting it. And then you can put a dab of color either with an ink. I used Nuvo drops. I don't have my red bottle over here, but I have this bottle. I used Nuvo drops and I just tipped out the red. You can do it with ink, you can do it with alcohol inks, a stamp pad, and just tip out those ends in red. But you can make this center as big as you want by just bringing this paper back over the center a few times so that you get a good center on it. And then you can just dab it with some chalk. And I didn't cut another one of these. This is the stamen. But if you've done rolled flowers, you know what they look like. They're just 5 petals on a piece of square paper. And you're going to start that square and you're just going to roll it around and pull your crepe paper tight. Let me see if I have I do. Have a scrap right here. We're just going to pretend my petals were cut out of this, guys, because I ran out of time. I didn't have time to actually cut this flower for you and do the rose too. So you're just going to pretend that strip is about this long. Seriously, it's not very long at all. And your petals are going to be sticking up. I chalked them in the center just lightly. Let me pull one out. Just like that, right in the center was all I did. You can use a Q-tip. You can use the little tool that comes with the pebble, eye candy pebbles chalk. But all I did was put it in, and I just kept pulling and stretching my crepe paper all the way around and arranging my petals. When I had a petal that was beside the next, I didn't stretch as much, or I glued. And that's all there is to it. And that makes this. And then I just hot glued the leaves to the back where I wanted them. Very simple, very easy. I made these in about 2 minutes, not counting the chalking. So it didn't take long. That's that one. Sue also has a file for the calla lily. I didn't have any white paper, so I used red on this, and I haven't cut this either. I will do a tutorial, probably a quick one on this one tomorrow. So if you guys want the file for this, Sue can give you that one too, or Catherine, either one of you. And it's very simple as well. If you can do a rolled flower, you can do this one, because that stamen on the inside is just very simply rolled. I did do a little trick to it, and I will show y'all on a short clip that I will do tomorrow. It won't be live, but I will make a clip on how to make this one. So let's get down to business, the roses. This is what we're going to make tonight. We're going to make a pink. I'm going to make a pink one. I don't know what colors you guys cut. And I'm going to chalk the edges. I did several experiments, and I told some of you guys Wednesday about this. The chalks work best for me. I didn't like the bleeding effect that the Copics gave. If this were a pansy or a parrot flower or something like that, this would be perfect. But I don't like that bleeding effect for the roses. So, just so you guys know, Copics don't work. The Spectrum Noirs, this was a Spectrum Noir. they do well for certain flowers. This one I did with the clear on it. I don't know if you guys can see the shimmer on that or not, but beware that it does take the color out of the end of the petal. It turned the end of that petal white, even though that stuff was clear. It discolored it. So, and then these were inked edges from an ink pad, and it just doesn't blend. So this was the chalk, and this was the soft look that I was going for, just very subtle. Okay, and then that was another experiment with another ink pad. It didn't work. No, that was the distress markers. They didn't work either. So that being said, you guys be careful, and you don't want to tear your petals when we're doing this. This is why I told you to cut extra, because when we're learning to do this, this is going to happen, so don't get upset when it happens. Just cut some extras when you're learning to do your flowers. Okay, let's get down to it here. And don't stretch your paper when you put it on your mats, guys. Just open it up and lay it down. Don't stretch. I've got my chalks that I'm going to be using. This is the Eye Candy Pebbles, and I supplied a link for that as well. And that's what we're going to start with. We're going to start chalking the leaves first, or the petals, not the leaves. Let's start with the large. The small ones, you are only going to chalk 4 of them. The other 5 are not going to be chalked at all. Nothing on them. In the pebbles, it comes with a little alligator clip tool. And then I just use pom-poms. The pebbles come with them, but you can buy them at Hobby Lobby. And these were the 7mm. They do make them smaller than that, like these little bitty ones down here. These are closer to the medium ones that came with it. So that's what I'm using. And on this pink, I'm using this dark rose color. And all you do is just rub the pom-pom into the pastel. You can use the other pastel chalks that you get at the hobby stores too. You don't have to get this one if you don't want it. This one just comes with the tool and the pom-poms. So on all of your large leaves, just going to stretch them a little bit. Just stretch them out just a tiny bit at the top. And I'm just going right here. I hope you guys can see that. I'm just stretching a little bit right here, just on the top, to give it kind of a ruffle effect when you lay it flat. And then I'm just taking the chalk and going over the ends. Doesn't have to be exact, any of that. Just chalk the ends and then flip it over and chalk the other side. And set it to the side. It goes really quick once you get working with it. Hey, Jamie. No problem, Jamie. I'm glad you could join us. Hi, Annette. Did I miss anybody? Judy? I see Judy came in. Hey, Judy. But we're just stretching each one of those petals, and then we're chalking them. And if you went with the ivory, I used the same color on the ivory colored rose. I was just curious how this one would come out with the pink on the pink, the dusty pink on pink. I won't pom-pom doesn't want to. There we go. Get a better grip on it. So who's working with me on these? Who cut their file and it's working? Oh, good, good, good. Is anybody having any problem doing this so far? Any questions about it? Hey, Darla, you snuck in there. I didn't see you. Oh no, Jamie. Yeah, I wouldn't do that either. I had to take Clorox to my hands, and I still didn't get it all off from where I did that cup. I spilled the alcohol ink on me. I'm glad I spilled it on me and not on everything in my craft room. That's okay, Bonnie. Just go ahead and stretch just the very end of your flowers. Even if you're not chalking, you guys need to go ahead and stretch the end of your flowers. Hey, Kiana. That's okay. I didn't get my stems either, so I'm just going to make do. I had my paper. Michael's has started carrying the crepe paper too, but it's online only, and so is Joanne's. But Leah Griffith, this paper is really good. I like it. And she's coming out with some new colors. So if you look on the Leah Griffith link that we have, it says sold out. It's not really sold out. It's just not available. They haven't released it yet. Yes, Marissa, you have to cut the crepe paper on the maker because it needs the rotary blade. The other blades will pull it up off the mat and bunch it up. Yeah, Sharon, I saw those too. This is her paper, the Whirl paper from Germany. And then I don't know what I'm assuming that the new one she's coming out with is either that Italian or the Whirl as well. This is the extra fine. Lavada, this is the extra fine from Leah Griffith. Yeah, okay, Sharon, if you got her paper through this link, then it's the Whirl from Germany. I looked at the Italian because I wanted some other colors, and they just weren't available on Leah Griffith's site. And they have a premium, and they have a heavyweight. And honestly, I'm not sure which to order, and I don't want to pay all those shipping charges to get one pack to check it. And I don't want to order enough to get free shipping and then it be the wrong stuff. Yeah, I haven't, I'll confess, I have not joined to see her do these because I can't figure out how to get on there without having to pay a monthly membership. So I just don't know. Oh, good. Marissa, you just set up yesterday? Great. Yeah, she has some great videos on YouTube. I watched about, I don't know, I was up till, well, 3 days this week, 5 a.m. in the morning, doing research and finding videos, and I watched some of hers and some others, and I kind of combined some and came up with my own way to do it that worked for me. There are more than one way to do these, guys. I just thought this was the easiest way to do them for me. So after you've done this with me tonight, look at some of the others. Look at Leah Griffith and some other people who have done these and come up with a system that works for you. Oh, yeah, I've cut several and I've played around with it and done some testing, and I haven't even used a sheet yet. I probably haven't cut a 12 by 12 piece. I think I cut a 12 by 12 and like a 12 by 4 piece of this pink, and I made the cherry blossoms. I did some test flowers, and then I did this rose too. So I mean, it goes a long way. And I did go out searching today to try to find where we could get crepe paper at the craft stores and things like that. I couldn't find any, except in rolls, the streamer type rolls, and that's one thing you want to watch for. Do they bleed? Because some of these you may not want to bleed. Okay, now I've got all the large petals done. Yes, Sue, I was up to 5:30 this morning. So on the small petals, we're just going to run some chalk right in the middle and kind of bring it out to the edges, kind of, I don't know, heart-shaped or to a point. However you want to chalk it, really. It's not going to make a big difference if you chalk it different than I do. But you want to get kind of heavy on one, and then maybe right in the center on one. You want these to be random in the middle of the flower. And notice I did not stretch the smaller ones. So you can add more chalk after we've stretched if you feel like it needs it in places. But I'm just randomly chalking these center ones, these smaller ones. Then I'm just going to set that to the side. Oh, lucky you, Kiana. I went today, I don't know if Cindy's here. Cindy is one of the girls at my Hobby Lobby that works over in the scrapbooking department and the paper department. And she said they used to carry it, but they don't carry it anymore. But it wasn't Leah Griffith, it was something else. But I use the pink mat, Marissa. You always want to use your pink mat with your rotary blade. The rotary blade will cut through the other mats. The pink mat is a denser material, and it's made for the rotary. So make sure if you're using your rotary blade, no matter what you're cutting, that you're on a pink mat. Yeah, Kiana, that was a deal. I just looked up. I think that they're discontinuing that pack or something. I don't know. I haven't heard anybody say. But yeah, they've lowered the price somewhere else because it's still really expensive over on Leah's site. I'm reading some questions here. Yes, Sharon, her membership is very expensive. Her flowers are gorgeous though. But so rather than pay that, I stayed up to 5 a.m. a couple of nights and researched. All right, the next thing you want to do is get your stick or your floral wire, whatever you're going to be using to put your flower on. And remember I told you guys to get some toilet paper? I'm using Northern, so it's thick. You may need more sheets depending on how thick or whatever the ply is that you're using on the tissue. And I'm taking 4 sheets, and I'm just going to, I don't know that I'm going to need 4, but I'm taking 4 and fold it in half and then half again, or almost half again, not quite half again. I'm leaving a little bit of a tail on the end. Just like that. Doesn't have to be perfect, doesn't have to be exact. And then I'm just going to put a dab of glue in here, and I'm going to fold this over and kind of corner it down just a little bit, like so. And then we'll go from there. And if you're using a high temp glue gun, please protect your fingers, because I burnt myself with my high temp making that first one. Burnt myself pretty good. But you're just going to try to get like a little point there, and it doesn't matter, it doesn't have to be perfect. And then I'm just kind of twisting it to give it some bulk. I don't know if you guys see that, and bringing it around, and then I'm just going to roll the stick from there and try to keep that bunched up at the bottom. You want that rosebud shape if you can get it. If not, it's not a big deal, but kind of like rolling flowers. And I think I might be able to get by with 3 sheets on mine. And if you need more bulk, just twist it. And then glue that in. Oh, and of course I stuck my finger in the glue again. There we go. I am a messy gluer, guys, so just so you guys know that. And you're just going to kind of shape it. It doesn't have to stay perfect. Let me get rid of all my little glue hairs here. But that's basically how we're going to start. And then the petals that you did not chalk, you want to get those. And we're going to stretch the top. Just stretch the top a little bit, and it's going to give you that little V. You guys can see that? That's what you're looking for. If it's not perfect and you don't have it like that, don't worry. It's okay. You're going to take, I've got another stick here. You can take a stick. You can use your scissors. You can use the end of your tweezers. You can use a bone folder, whatever works for you. And you're just going to, I've got glue on my hands. You're just going to kind of cup it and pull, like curling ribbon, basically. And you're just going just on the edge. Pull that edge in on both sides. And then take something round. You can use your stick. You can use the other end of your stick there. And I'm placing, trying to get this where you guys can see it. I should have used a darker color. I apologize. I am putting the curl just on that inside, and then I'm going to come over to the other side and do the same. Giving me that bud shape. See, one side is curled more than the other. Doesn't really matter. You just want to get that curl in there. And then you want to do that to these other 4 that you did not chalk. Just stretch them out. Stretch them slow and easy, because if you stretch and pull too hard, you will rip it. So that's why you made extras. And I just look at it after I've stretched it and see which way is the best for me. And again, you can use a stick, anything, just to kind of give it that curl in. And it's wanting to go that way, so I'm going to curl it that way. And then the other side too. And you may have to, sometimes I have to re-roll mine to get what I want. There we go. Does anybody have any questions so far? I'm reading, so if I get quiet while I'm rolling, just don't pay me any mind. There are 9 small ones per rose. There are 5 in this centerpiece that we're rolling this way. The other 4 we're going to roll differently. These 5 are right here. And then our other 4 we're going to roll the other way. So 9 of the small petals all together and 8 of the large petals. We are working on the small ones, Darla. The ones we did not chalk. We chalked 4 and we did not chalk the other 5. Dorothy, if it's buffering, you might want to go out and come back in. I'm getting a good signal. And they changed out my modem today, so they told me that if there was a lot of buffering, it was probably on the other end, unless it happens to everybody at the same time. So I told them I would see, and if I had to, I would call them back tomorrow. Those of you that are working with me, are you doing okay? Is everything going all right with them? You getting the hang of it? Oh, Sonia, you're in Atlanta too? Well, I'm down here in Hampton. In old downtown Hampton, almost across the street from the railroad depot. Oops, I squished that one. Try not to squish them and fold them. All right. Okay, is everybody ready to move on to the next step? Once you have your curls in the petal, not at the base, you don't want to be at the base, okay? So I kind of hold my thumb and that's where I judge. I hold my thumb so that I've got the bottom of it, I don't know if you guys can see it, showing right there. And then I place my other thumb up right beside it, and that's where I start stretching. Okay, and I'm just stretching as much as it'll stretch and making like a bowl. Can you guys see that? Oh wow, Sonia, you'll have to come by and craft with me one day. I know exactly where you're at. So you want to get that little bowl shape on your flower there. Don't stretch the bottom and don't stretch the top anymore. Just right there, a thumb's width, stretching to get your bowl. Hi Lois, I'm glad you got here. Yay! So you want to do that to all 4 of these middle petals and just get a good stretch and make your bowls on those. And if it cups like that, don't worry about it. You can push that back out. It's just part of the process. And if you overstretch, it's going to tear, so just be careful. You can always stretch it more if you need to. To me, this is the fun part, the easy part. I apologize. My dogs are going to bark. My husband works out of town and he just got home. So. They can be pretty vocal when they need to be. And we're just stretching all 5 of these flowers. And I tore it. See, I told you guys. That's why you want extra petals. Let me grab another one. And I didn't curl the top of this one yet, but I can go back and do it. So it's up to you when you want to curl the tops and things like that. Hey Kathy, I'm glad you made it. And everything will be available on playback too, guys, for any of you that got here late or need to play back and find out what step to take. I don't like the curl on that one. Do it again. There we go. Is everybody getting there stretched out? Having any problems? Did anybody tear one like I did? Hey Tracy, glad you made it. What's wrong, Bunny? Is it tearing on you? Did you tear? Okay, so after you've got everything stretched, you'll want to, and remember I said get a piece of scrap, have a piece of scrap ready. Okay, you're just waiting. And I am going to kind of roll that around the stick here, just a piece of scrap. And I'm just going to kind of tuck it down in and wrap it around. You may want to do a couple of pieces and just glue them down just on that tip so that if anybody peeps down into the center of your rose, they're not going to see that white tissue. With this light colored pink, if you're doing light colored pink like I am, it probably isn't going to matter because it's such a light color, it probably won't show. But with your darker colors, you definitely want to cover the end with some paper. And then I'm going to take the one that's got the most curl to it for me, and you're going to place it around the tissue. And how high or low you go is totally up to you, but I like to come down to the base of where that tissue is, and that's where I'm going to glue it. You do not want to glue up in the middle. I did that on a few of the petals on this one. I didn't do it on all, but I did on my outside. I caught too high up, and I couldn't fluff out and make the bow like I did with these. Yes, I covered the end of the stick with the color of tissue that I was using. Is that what you were asking, Kathy? This, you can use a stick, you can use a straw, you can use a floral wire. Floral wire is probably better. Mine just didn't come. But if you're doing a dark color, that's where it's going to matter, because if they look down into the center right here of that rose, you will see the white tissue, okay, right down through there. On these light colors, it probably doesn't matter because it's so light that you won't see it. But if you're doing a dark colored tissue or crepe paper, then it will show. But I just glued this one right here at the base, and then I am going to come right here on the side, just on this one now, and glue that side right there, and then this other side. We want this piece to kind of fit tight. And you can use art glitter glue or some of the other just regular glues. However, they take a long time to dry. I discovered that hot glue would be better. And if you bump it like I did and undo your curl, just go back in with the stick and curl it back up. And then I'm just going to, right here around the top, trying to stay on camera for you guys, I am going to pull these in to get that curl to stay. You're just going to have to, that first piece is the critical one to get that curl. And you're just going to overlap and pull it in until you can get it in the position that you want. The picture disappeared, Beverly. You might need to refresh. Okay. Can you guys hear me? Looks like YouTube may have. YouTube is buffering, so give it just a second, guys. Give me just one moment. There it goes. It's green again. Yay. Can everybody see now? That was YouTube. I don't believe that was us. I went and checked and everything was green on my side. I just messed up mine. Let me get it in there. There we go. Okay. And now I've got that nice tight point. I hope you guys can see it on that first one. Then you're going to take your next one and you're just going to overlap slightly. You may have to uncurl it just a tiny bit to get it on there. And again, glue that one at the bottom. Glue stick. And if you're making buds, guys, once you get these small petals on, that's where you'll stop for your buds. You won't need the outer bigger leaves. And just let your paper, the curls that you have in it, I'm just working them and placing them up over and letting them loose. Stay loose at the top. I'm just gluing on these sides near the bottom just to keep it secure. Just a tiny dab, doesn't take much. I probably should have started with that one there, but I didn't. And you want to overlap each one of these just a tiny bit. I don't want to press these with my hands. I want to use that stick to kind of make them overlap. And then where I've got the gap down here at the bottom, right here, that's where I'm going to stick my glue. And once you have those three on, now you want to move down slightly with your next one. You want it to come down just a little bit lower than what you've been putting the other petals. You guys can see that. The top of this petal is here. A good 1/4 inch, maybe a little bit more down. Uh-oh, oops. What did you do, Bonnie? And don't worry if they're not curled exactly the way you want. You can go back in and curl the tops and get them where you need them to be. But just kind of shape your flowers and get them like you want, and then secure those edges. Wherever you feel like they need to be secured up so that they stay in place. Okay, guys, did it go black for you guys? I lost my picture. Okay, you guys can see? Okay, great. I don't know what's going on with YouTube. It just kind of went wonky on me there for a moment. Now it says, yay, it came back. Yay. But you can see that the flower is starting to take shape. Okay, and now we've got that fifth one. And I am just going to see where I like it the best. What side, where, and I'm going a little bit lower with this petal as well. This one is not giving me as tight of a center as my others did. I'm going to recurl that one. I don't like the way it's curling. There we are. And I'm just working with it. I'm going to curl that one down a little bit. If you're not happy with the curl on one, just play with it. That's basically all there is, but there's a lot of shaping to these that you have to get in. And I may have just stretched that one too much. I'm not sure. Okay, let me get that last one on. I'm on the fifth one, Bonnie. I just put the fifth petal on. And I'm about to move on to the ones that we did chalk, the four we did put chalk on. And now you're going to stretch these guys, but you don't want to give it a lot of stretch, just a little bit. And you're going to curl these backwards. Just ever so slightly curl it backwards. So you have, I don't know, like a J shape like this. Everybody see that? And then you're going to make the bowl just like you did on the others. And don't worry about if there's not a lot of chalk. You don't want too much chalk on these pieces here. But once you have your bowl, you should be looking something like that. And this is petal number 6 for the center of the small pieces. And just determine where you want it to go on the flower. And like I said, you don't want a whole lot of chalk on these if you're chalking. Let's see if you can get some definition there. But that's where I'm going to hold that one there, and then I'm just going to come in here and glue it. And don't glue your sides too deep. If you need to glue, glue towards the bottom on the sides, because we're going to be slipping the edge of the petal in on these. So another chalked one. This one I chalked on the edge. This one I chalked in the center. Just a little bit of a stretch, not much on that. And then curl it backwards. Yes, I put it lower than 5, Wanda. Let's see if I can get you a good shot there. It's right here. You're welcome. Now these other tutorials that we do on the flowers, guys, they won't be as long as this one. The roses have so many pieces, that's why they take so long. But once you do 1 or 2, it goes pretty quick after that. Your first couple, it's going to take some time learning how to put the petals on and how you want them. And no 2 are going to be alike, that's for sure. And I'm just gluing this at the bottom. This is where you want to start to give it some space so that it can fan out. I'm just gluing that one at the bottom. We're going to come back in here and place a petal in between. I think I want to use my scissors on this to get that light curl like I have here. And I don't know if you guys can see that one, but using the scissors is a little different than the stick. It gives it a sharper curl. And let's see if you guys can see how that's starting to take shape. Everybody good? Anybody have questions? Now I'm going to pull the edge of this one in behind. I'm going to kind of overlap them and secure that down. Almost at the bottom. I have glue hairs all over me. I told you guys I was a messy gluer, especially when it comes to hot glue. All the glue strings. Okay, and the last small petal. Let me see, where do I want this to go? I think I want it to go right there. Isn't it, Barbara? They go together pretty good. Like I said, once you get your first one or two down, you can start learning to play with it just a little bit more and where you want everything to go. And don't ever think any two are ever going to be alike, because they're just not. They aren't in nature either. So, but that's how you're getting that real look. Okay, now let's move on to the larger petals. Is everybody good? Okay, these are our larger petals. And as you can see, let me see if I can get a good shot in the camera here. This project camera is so tiny, guys. I mean, the flower is bigger than that camera. Maybe you'll get there, Bonnie. It takes a little practice, but you'll get there. The first one, we're just going to slightly curl this top edge. And then if you can see down in here, the side is going to take a sharp curl. Okay, and then on this side, it's kind of sharp, but it's kind of flattened back out too. So let's work on doing that one. And the way that I did mine was I did the bowl first. So just come up and do the bowl and stretch it. In my opinion, I did mine as large as I could get it to stretch without tearing it. You don't have to stretch each petal the same size either. And see, that kind of determines where the top is on it once you got that bowl stretched. And this is the part that I'm going to curl back. just like curling ribbon. See how I've gotten a really sharp curve on that? You can make this look as lifelike as you want just by playing with it and getting, I'm holding the edge so I don't stretch the flower and getting a sharp curl on this edge. Almost to where it's rolled under twice. And then I'm going to do the same on this side. And if it stretches a little, it's not going to matter. Because you can go back in there and play with them. I hope you guys can see that on the camera. Just really sharp curls. Everybody still with me? You guys got quiet. And this is where it's important that don't worry about if it crinkles up on the bowl here. We're going to go back in and stick our finger in and push those back out. So don't glue those areas. But right there at the bottom, you want to come back down here to the bottom of your stem. And that's about how far I'm coming down with this petal. 1/4 inch below what I've done everything else. And that's where I'm going to glue that one. There's no right or wrong way to do this. You are so hypnotized or bored. And I'm just pulling that around that stem there. Get rid of all your glue hairs. I can't get rid of one. And then let's go to the next one. And basically, this one is going to be done the same way. You're just going to give it a little more curl on the top and a little less on the side. See if you guys can see that. And I even had a tear in that one, but it made it look so real I left it. But you want a deep curl on one side of this one. You can see how deep that is. I hope I'm in there. Pretty deep curl on this one. And then it tapers off on the other side. See if you guys can see it. Trying to make sure that you guys get to see each one that I curl so that you can refer back if you need to. And then I'm overlapping the last petal. And I went slightly higher up. Totally up to you, however you want it to look. And I think I'm going to do another one curled the same way as that one, or close to the same way. None of them are all going to curl this exactly. I hope you guys are learning. I hope that it's informative and you don't find it boring. My scissors came undone. I don't want to cut myself. I'm even going to put that stick and curl one side down. So just play with them. I mean, to me, that looks like a rose petal that I would buy out of the silk department. So I'm just, oh, you're welcome, Barbara. I didn't see you come in. I'm glad you joined us. And then where these two come together in a V, that's where I'm placing this one. And yes, when you're curling some of these, some of your chalk is going to come off. So if you are chalking and you want to chalk darker than what you really want, it's a good thing because you will lose some of it. And if you lose too much, you can come in here and reshade. I missed you coming in. I must have been looking at something or trying to fix something. Okay. You could really basically stop there on some of your roses. You don't have to use all the petals, guys. Whatever you feel like is a good stopping point for whatever look you're going for, because roses are different sizes. I am going to use the rest of these petals, but roses are different sizes, so you could stop at the bud phase and put on the greenery, or you could keep going. Darla, the center takes some practice. I'm not going to lie. A couple of I was wondering and iffy about this one, but the more I looked at it, I'm like, it's not too bad. If I look at roses online, real roses, um, I looked at photos of them. They're not all exact. You guys are going to have to post your pictures of your roses on, and let's see how yours did. I tore one. No. Know what that means. While you guys are putting your rose petals, doing your rose petals, I'm going to re-chalk one of mine that I messed up just then. Getting chalk on my mat, but it's okay. Didn't take long to fix it. So I've torn two. How many of you guys torn? I average about 2 a flower. This was my first one, and I tore 3 on the first one. Oh, come on, Bonnie. We all have to start at some point. Your sunflowers turned out great, so I can just imagine that we are our own worst critics. This over here where everybody can see it to judge how they want their petals to go. And don't be afraid to tuck in behind one here and there, like so. I'm going to tuck in behind that one. Glue on the top, and I know I'm not sticking my finger in that. The tucking can get a little bit tricky. Just make sure you glue at the bottom. And not up above. I apologize if I get off camera. I'm trying to get mine tucked like I want it. I couldn't see it. Okay. And let's go for another one. I think I'm going to do a deep curl on both sides, kind of making a V for this one. And the way I did that was to do it before I stretched the flower. And I tore it again. It just means that I'm not supposed to do, but I'm supposed to do one less. Because that's what I'm doing. I'm just going to do one less. I'm not going to chalk another one. That's why I like the stick better than the scissors, but I like the look that the scissors give it. And you'll find your own tools too, guys, that work best for you for curling. And where do I want that one? Got to figure out where you want them to live on there before you glue. Okay. Are you guys down to your last couple of petals? You're on your last one, Bonnie? I better hurry up. Okay. I got one more after this one. I think that one is going to live right there. And then one here. You guys are going to have one more petal than me because I'm not going to rechalk another one. Well, I'm not going to say that because then I'll tear this one and I'll have to. And I got a little V there. I kind of like that. So it's staying. Okay, now you guys should have something that looks just about like this. I wish I had floral wire so I could bend it a little bit better. An alien rose, Bonnie? No, 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 no. Alright, guys, now you're going to need your little grass piece. And we're going to slightly stretch that. You don't have to stretch it big. And just get it ready. You're not going to put it on yet. That looks good. You need another sheet of your toilet tissue. Thanks, Sonia. And you're going to roll, I just folded this kind of in half. You're just going to roll it, I'm going to say half inch wide. That's about what you want. And you're going to come at the base of your rose. I'm just putting a little bit of glue on the end. And come right at your base. And pull it around. And keep it as tight as you can keep it. Around the base of your rose. Get rid of all my little glue things again. It's going to look something similar to this. At the bottom. And then before you put this piece on, you're going to take each one of these and you're just going to twist them in different twists. You can twist some tighter than others, but you're just going to give them a little twist. And it should look something like that. Let me see if you guys can see that. Is that better? And that's what you want right there. And then I'm going to take the white end and I'm just going to glue it on, but make sure that when you're gluing this that you're leaving enough to cover that tissue at the top, so that when you're putting it on and stretching, see how some of them go up, some go down? That's what you want. But you want to make sure you cover that tissue. Oh, wow. Yeah, that's hot, Lois. We got in the 60s today here, though, or right at 60. I was running around doing stuff in a t-shirt. You're just going to come around. Don't worry about the bottom down there yet. And glue it every so often, just keeping it above the tissue at the top for right now. And you can either keep going or you can tear it off. What I did is I started pulling mine and stretching it and coming down around the bottom. Everybody with me so far? And these are where your little strips come in. Wow, New Zealand. I'm going to stretch the end of this almost like you would a green floral tape. As a matter of fact, you could use green floral tape here if you want. You have floral tape, Bonnie? You can use that. I'm just going to take and put a little glue on the end of it. And this is where I'm going to make sure it covers the bottom there. And as I do that, I'm going to push it up and kind of try to make that look like a bowl or a ball down at the bottom. Just pushing it up as I cover it. Bringing all that in. And you can put a little dab of glue when it starts to pull in and just tighten it all up. That was all I did on that. Just kind of shape it, basically, and cover the tissue. And then you can just, if you're using floral tape or the crepe paper, just kind of twist and cover the stem all the way down. One little piece of crepe paper will go a pretty long way. And when I got down to the end, I just held it tight, put a little dab of glue, and of course, if this one time it doesn't want to do that, and just cover it and then tear it off. We're just about done except the leaves, guys. I am going to re-chalk some of the edges on mine, guys. But once you've got that part done, you want to go in with your finger and bowl out the flower. Kind of pushing it down and working in the leaves or petals, not the leaves. You want to leave the center pretty tight, but you just want to work with your petals on these. And like I said, if you want to go in and darken up, if you chalked and darken up from where you played with it and rub some of the chalk off, you can do that. I kind of like this. It just gives it some variation, darker places. And then that's where your 4 little pieces of wire are going to come in, or 3 little pieces of 4-inch wire. 3 to 4 inches, whatever you want to use. And I'm going to start with the big leaf. And the first one I did a little bit different. I cut them and went different grains, and then it was okay, but I wasn't really happy with it. So I figured that this would be better. And you can stretch this if you want, but I would do it after. And I'm just going to run like a little bit of glue right down the middle. And then lay my wire on it. And don't worry about what size the wire is. 3 or 4 inches, 5 inches, doesn't matter. And then stick the other leaf on top. And then what I did was I opened it up and put another, just a teeny tiny dab of glue, just so that wire wouldn't roll out at any point if you stretched your leaves. And you'll want to do that to all 3 sizes of your leaves. And these little tails are on here, guys. They don't mean anything. They're going to get wrapped up in this anyway. It's just kind of a guide of where to put your wire. Really, I never thought about that. I have wine in there in the fridge. I don't know what mine would look like though. As a matter of fact, I left my coffee sitting in there too. And these don't have to be perfect, guys. Kind of gives some depth and dimension if they're off just a little bit. And then you'll want to take another piece of your, either your floral tape or the crepe paper, both work, and wrap each wire. I tore mine. I prefer floral tape. Of course, that didn't come today either. And I couldn't find, I had some old and it just, I don't know, it didn't stick well. And you don't have to cover all the way down on these if you don't want to, because we're going to cover them when they go onto the stem. Make sure when you cut your crepe paper that you cut it with the grain going lengthwise so that it'll stretch for you. If it's not stretching, it's cut the wrong way. just enough to cover the wire. And I'm stretching mine as I roll the leaf. I'm not even gluing them on the end. There's no need to because we're going to cover it. Sometimes my hand wants to do this backwards and I don't know why. Like a snapdragon. Don't laugh, Sonia. I thought about doing a snapdragon. I know I want to do an iris. And my paper didn't stay tight, so I'm just twisting it some more. All right. And then you want to take the large leaf. I believe I put the large leaf at close to the top. And then I put the other two leaves on either side. And I just move them down slightly from one another. Like so. That's the way they're going to end up. Let me cut one more piece of crepe paper just in case. But I'm going to start with the large. And just a little dab of glue. And I'm doing this a thumb's width from the bottom of the leaf, guys, so it has room to bend. And I'm just going to wrap that on. And I'm not even going to go all the way to the end. I'm just going to give it a few turns and then I'm going to get the next one. And I'm going to dab a glue in there as well. And then I'm just going to keep turning. And then I'm going to get the last one. And your stem won't have near as much bulk if you're using the floral wire. You'll have a little bit more with these sticks or with straws. And it just depends. If you're putting them in a bud vase, doesn't matter. And it ran out of crepe paper right there. I have a piece right here. And I'm just going to go over the end one more time, just to kind of bulk it up so that it looks cohesive with the stems. There you have it, guys. All you have to do now is bend your leaves out, and I just kind of cup them over my thumb. And if they're loose at the bottom, just throw you a dab of glue on there, glue it back down. There you go. A carnation and an iris, Dana? Yeah, I looked at a carnation. I've got to come up with a pattern for those because I don't want to pay for a pattern. I don't want you guys to pay for a pattern. Does anybody have any questions? Thank you, Catherine. Thank you, Wanda. Thanks, everybody. Thanks to everybody who joined. And I figured that this would take about 2 hours. Roses are going to take longer than any of them. Like I said, these, just a couple of minutes. These are done in a couple of minutes. And this I did, I don't know, maybe 5 minutes. So the roses are going to be the most in-depth and the hardest to do. But I will do some tutorials and put them online. They may not be live. I may go live to do the calla lily. And I may just do the calla lily and the cherry blossoms in one live if you guys want to do that. Maybe Wednesday we'll go over doing those since they're so quick. The stems and all are just the same. It's just the way you stretch the flowers. And Dana, I'm going to write the carnation and iris down. I got somebody else requested a dogwood, and there was paper whites somebody requested, but I've already done the pattern for that. I just have to test it. All right, you guys, thanks for joining me and supporting the groups and supporting me. If you need the rose files, they'll be in the description of the video. The video will take a little while to load, so it will be up in a few hours or even in the morning if you need to get back to those. It's Atlanta, Lois, Atlanta, Georgia. I think it's -5 GMT. But if you guys have any questions before the video loads or anything like that, please come over to the groups. Sue's there, Catherine's there, Tina, Jamie, myself. We'll all be happy to answer. Hey, Gina. You're in Atlanta too. Yay. Yes, please give the video a thumbs up. Give it a like. Leave your comments. I don't get to answer all the comments on YouTube all the time. If you really need help, make sure you ask in the groups. I get to the YouTube ones as quickly as I can, but sometimes it takes a while. All right, guys, let's go make some roses. Y'all have a wonderful night. Bye-bye.